So if you guys are like me and you do have the ability to make sense of those weird scribbles on paper, you probably know based off of the title that I'm going to be making a tap handle today. Now there's really only one actual ingredient you need, and everything else is just up to your imagination. Now, there's a few different ways to go about that, but basically what you need is you need something that will thread onto a 3/8/16 stud. And in this case I have a coupling nut. That's just one. It's one of these long nuts. You could probably get them on a turnbuckle or something if you're just looking to kind of recycle material, but this inside thread has to be 3/8/16. So that's the coarse 3/8 thread. The reason is because that's the size of most beer taps, or the stud coming off of most beer taps anyways. So you can also just use a regular nut. I did buy some regular nuts. But today, I'm gonna be doing something kind of my own little theme. I've never seen a tap handle like this before. I'm sure they exist, but I am going to go ahead and make a metal flower tap handle. I've already got the bud made. I will eventually do a video on how I make these step by step, but basically the plan is put a little bit of extension on here and probably have it facing forward a little bit so you can see that it's a rose. Thinking maybe even two of them might be cool, but who knows. Anyways, get that extended out a little bit, and then I'm going to weld this on the end. That's basically all you're doing here. And then I'll show you some other little things from the parts bin. Now that I've got my welding hat on, we can go ahead and attach these two pieces. Now, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see, so I'll try to do this sideways if I can. But essentially what I need to do is just stick this threaded portion on the bottom, and that's the whole tap handle. Now, I might extend this a little bit. I still haven't quite decided yet, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna kind of keep with the scrap metal theme and maybe try to just put this bolt in there as an extension. I think that would be cool. Is that too long? I think that's okay for that. Now this is zinc coated, so it's gonna weld kind of funky. You gotta make sure you burn through all that to get a decent weld. You could probably find non-zinc plated hardware, but it's kind of harder to come by in my experience. Not often people have it, you know? I guess grade 8 stuff's not zinc plated, but grade 8 would be way overkill for this. I think these coupling nuts were like $2.19 a pop. Quite a bit of money, but hey, they look all right. So technically that's a tap handle right here if you don't mind being super basic with it, but like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and add my rose to the top, and I'm not gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna do some finishing touches to the rose as far as coloring and everything else goes. So right now I'm just trying to get the pieces into place and sort of visualize what I'm gonna do from there. Set it down, so I can finish these up. Alright, well with that all welded up, I think I might finish some of the welds on the bottom here. Just to make sure there's no pinholes, because that looks ugly. And I'm not making this just to be strong, I want it to be pretty. In fact, pretty is more important than strong, considering it's only just a little handle for a lever, so I'd call that good for now, and now I'm just going to add some of the nicer details for you. Metals, or whatever the hell they're called, I don't really know 100% what it's called. I just work here. I'm also not a gardener, so What I'm talking about is the ones that, like, you got a little bulb, and then as it grows, they kind of peel back and reveal the flower. I'm just gonna make 2 of those for this flower. That way it's got a little more detail, and that'll also hide the junction, or the joinery there where they come together. So, which you don't need to, it's just a bunch of tacks on clean metal versus zinc, and I just think it looks not really a big deal. Sure, you could get a lot cleaner welds with a TIG, yeah, but I have what I have, and I make it work best I can. That's all anybody can do, really, so. Don't worry about other people thinking your stuff doesn't look right, or da-da-da-da-da. First of all, these are usually sold to customers, and the only person whose opinion matters is the person buying it, and if they're buying it, I assume that means they think it's cool, so. I just want to give this tap handle away specifically, but I do want it to look really nice. I think all the stuff I built looks good. In fact, personally, I try to make it look handmade because I think the things that are handmade look cool. I like the mistakes and inconsistencies of something that has been made by hand. Just to me, it looks a lot better. Now, you might disagree, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just an opinion, but handmade looks good. I don't mean crap, like don't make things look ugly, but I like to see forge marks on my knives, for example. I don't like polished, stone-blasted knives as much as I like forge marks on a knife. Granted, I've never actually bought a forged knife, but when I forge knives, I like to leave the forge marks on them. Specifically because it was hand-forged. I want it to look like it was hand-forged. I don't want it to look like it came out of a machine or a production line. It's not supposed to be perfect copycats of each other. It's just supposed to be a knife, you know? Kind of like this. It's just a bunch of metal thrown together, but it's supposed to be a tap handle with a rose growing out of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep trimming this guy away to make it look a little more. Honestly, that's fine the way it is. So the way I make these, actually, I guess I didn't really go over it super well, is I'll grab the bottom and bend it back so that it's kind of like an L shape, and then I'll just radius this a little bit, and then curl this back part back as the rest of the leaf. So. Try to do a cool job with the paint. I think I'll start with a black base and then do like purple or something. I never paint these to actually look like flowers, because to me, if you want a flower, you should buy a flower. God makes pretty good flowers, you know? And like, if you're looking for nature, buy nature. Don't settle for some metal knockoff. I figure people buying these aren't buying them because they want flowers, they're buying them because they want a metal flower, in which case I want it to be different than a regular flower. Alright, now I need a leaf. Try to cut one of these to look like a leaf. Oh, I do not like those boogers. Maybe I'll just lie and say they're dewdrops. Actually, that kind of does look like a dewdrop. I might leave that one alone. I kind of wish I would have left the other one alone now too, but there it is. Not really much different than a regular metal rose, but it's got a thread cert on the bottom, which makes it a tap handle, I suppose. I'm liking the way it's going so far. Now just for the finishing touches. Alright, well, I know that I told you I wasn't going to do the heat treat clear coat finish, but I really like the heat treat clear coat finish, so I'm going to do the heat treat clear coat finish, because that's my favorite finish, at least on the top. So here goes the clear coat. I took apart a piece of stranded copper wire, really thick battery cable that I didn't end up needing, so now I have a bunch of little strands of copper, and I like to use those as an inlay. Now, so the thing I'm doing here is I'm just kind of bending the piece of copper to roughly the shape of what the pedal is, where it's going to go on. That way it kind of takes form, and then the clear coat fills in any gaps of it not being perfectly flush. This is why I didn't want to do this pedal. It's got a lot going on with it. I think I got it. That's all right, I'll take it. Coated bolts, and it is. So here we are, got that in there. That could be a tap handle if you just wanted a little grade 8 bolt tap handle for your man cave or something. Here's another thing I can make into a tap handle. A spark plug. Let's see. Moved it out of view too much. Now, problem with doing this with a spark plug specifically is I know that this little ceramic bit can break really easily, so let's just hope that the people that end up using this one in particular are careful with it. I mean, I assume if you want a spark plug tap handle, you're probably a gearhead, which probably means you've at least handled spark plugs before, I think, right? Can't assume nothing with people nowadays. Because a lot of them don't know nothing to be assuming in the first place. Always best when you're making something that somebody else is going to use to assume that they're completely and totally dumb. The reason being is a smart person can probably operate something that's been dummy proofed. Maybe it's a little bit inconvenient for them, but a dummy probably shouldn't be operating something that isn't dummy proofed. You know what I mean? The point I'm trying to make is basically just make your stuff safe for other people to use, because you might have common sense, but the guy picking this up might not, so just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here, I'm just being honest. Somewhere. Right there. That would make a cool tap handle. Oh. Here we have two different examples of things you can turn into tap handles. Now, like I said, the only thing you really need to do this is this 3/8 coarse nut on the bottom, or, you know, this is a coupling nut, but you can use a regular one. That's that. I hope you guys found this information useful, and I hope this is a project you guys might try to undertake yourselves. There really wasn't much information that's specific here. All you need is that threaded piece, and it's really up to you what you want to make. I'm just showing you kind of my style of building stuff and turning that into a tap handle, but you can make them out of wood, you can make them out of plastic, you can probably 3D print them. Hell, with a 3D printer, you can probably just tap the plastic on the bottom and make that work, then you don't even need a threaded insert. So, this is just hopefully to give you some sort of an idea and show you how simple it is to actually make these. That spark plug one literally took me like 10 minutes. Now, granted, these are just very basic. I didn't spend a whole lot of time planning these out. I was just thinking a tap handle would be a cool idea for a video. So I'm gonna make one as a gift for somebody, and I figured might as well record the process, and hopefully maybe you guys wanna make one yourself. I also have an extra one laying around that's just a spark plug, so maybe I'll buy a tap just to use it. I don't know, but thanks for watching, guys. I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, if you enjoy the content and you want to see more. Otherwise, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless. Tap handle, or just an extension. Can you handle all my inventions? Yep, there you go. That's a song. You can fucking copyright that shit. I'm gonna start using that in my intros.